Hi everybody, just a quick video because I did say on a couple of videos recently that I was going to get myself a new computer. Well, I finally spent the money and got the machine. Some of you helped me out because you sent me some donations and I'm really grateful for that. I got to say a big thank you, but I didn't expect it, but it was a useful amount of money and I did put it towards part of the PC, so I'm indebted to you for that. And I really did need a new PC because the old one was struggling. And I thought I'd just give you a quick tour of the PC. And this area is also my Radio Shack area. Yeah, it's a bit messy in the background, unfortunately, but that's my Rockwell hardness tester that I use for testing the knives that I make. That's a subject for another video, perhaps, for some of you that don't know about that in the future maybe. But the specs of the computer are, it's got 3.64 terabytes of storage, it's got an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5060 graphics card, it's got 32 gigabytes of RAM, and the RAM runs at 4800 MT/S. I don't know what that stands for. I don't know what that's a speed. It's very, very high speed RAM apparently. 32 gigs of that. I'm reading from about the system here. It's got the processor is an AMD Ryzen 5 8400F 6-core processor. And apparently, according to my friend Rob McKenzie, who helped me set the computer up, he said it's a 6-core processor, but it can also artificially generate another 6 cores. I don't know how it does that. So yeah, it's a really fantastic machine, and I've yet to do any serious editing with it. So this video is actually the first video that I'm going to edit with the new machine, and I'm filming it at 4K. So it'd be interesting to see how well it copes. I have used the 360 camera just messing around in the back garden earlier today, and there was no hang-ups at all. It was smooth, so I think it's really solved my editing dilemmas now, because when I was editing on my old PC, excuse me whilst I have a slurp, I can pretend I'm on a camp. Whilst I was editing on my old PC, which was over 10 years old, oftentimes the computer would crash. I had to save, every 5 minutes I had to save the work, because it would hang up and crash, and it would quite often do it 3 or 4 times during the course of an edit. And an edit for an average video that I produced would take me anywhere from 2 to 5 hours, depending on how long and complex the edit was. So I'm really hoping the new PC will do the job. Yeah, I'll turn you around and let you have a look at it. It's a gaming PC. It's got all the colours. I mean, the colours mean nothing to me, but apparently that's what the game is like. But my friend Rob McKenzie came here and he configured it so that it's more configured for video editing rather than gaming. So it should do a fantastic job. Anyway, let's turn the camera around and get a look at this new machine. Well, there it is. I've called it HAL. No, I haven't. I just called it computer. But it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 fans. It's a glass case. It's got underneath here, this is the graphics card and the cooler. This is the main CPU, which is on the motherboard behind, and that's the cooler for that. There's a massive, I don't know if you can see it in there. There's a massive heat sink there to keep things cool. These two things, vertical, that's the RAM. 2 16 gigabyte sticks, so 32 gigabytes of RAM. And it's an impressive machine, and it's whirring away. But the whirring sound isn't just coming from the computer, I'll give you a bit of a shack tour, if you like, because over here, this is very dusty environment. You know, I don't know where the dust comes from, it's terrible. So I run this all the time, and this is it's type of air cleaner, I suppose, and it draws air in under here, passes it through a filter, and it pushes out purified air. So I'm hoping that what it's going to do, it's going to take all the dust out of the air and just create this area here, which is my radio shack. It's going to give me an environment where the equipment stays as dust free as possible. So yeah, that's the computer. This is an old monitor, an old keyboard. So I managed to use some of the old stuff, an old mouse as well, and the old speakers. But that's that really. But I am going to be doing some more radio related topics, especially when the weather turns bad. It'll always be a good excuse to stay in when the weather's bad, and I can resurrect the Ham Shack Sunday videos, because they were quite popular amongst the radio amateurs. But moving on, I'll just give you a quick guided tour of the Radio Shack. And it's, you know, got the radios up at an angle, up at a height rather, so I got a reach up, which is, it would be nice if they weren't so high, but I've had it configured like this for the last few days now, and to be honest with you, it's not working out too bad. I quite like it. So, you know, I got to reach up and twirl the little knobs and dials, and then that's the ATU up there. So to change bands, I got to stand up out of my chair and actuate the inductor and the output and the input capacitors to tune the antenna to resonance. But it's no hardship, because once you set a band up, and whatever band I'm operating on, then you know, it's just you're basically on that band for as long as you want to be, really, and it's not difficult to change bands really. But I did a significant improvement, which I feel will make reception of the HF bands a bit quieter, because living in the town, we've got all sorts of electronic noise going on, which you never used to have years and years ago. But as things have developed, you know, and we've become more houses have got more electronic gadgets and equipment in them, obviously the noise that these things generate, they're generating noise all the time, and the amateur bands, you're listening to signals that are of sort of like tiny amounts of microvolts or picovolts. You know, they're tiny little signals, and you're trying to pull them out of all the noise. And if someone's saying North America or Canada or Oceania or wherever, by the time the signal's gone through the atmosphere and bounced around the Earth, by the time it lands on my antenna, you're talking with a tiny amount of voltage, and the receiver's got to pick that up and amplify it, and you know, and draw it out of all that hash which is generated by all the electronic gadgets in all the houses around about. What can happen, that this hash, it gets into the wiring of the houses, and so a lot of your interference can come not only just from the antenna and the atmosphere, but it can come from the house wiring. So on the back of the radio, I've wound an RF choke using 2 ferrite cores, and basically a toroidal choke, RF choke ballon. I think the technical thing is that it blocks the common mode interference, and a quick look online, and I soon found that I needed between 4 and 10 turns of the power lead going into the radio, going through these 2 ferrite cores, ferrite rings rather, and that should quieten a lot of the noise which is coming down through the house wiring. So I'll take you in and give you a closer look now at the ferrite rings that I've got on the power supply to the radio. Right, this might be a little difficult to show you. Let's have a look. Can I get you in the back there? If I pull this radio out a little bit. It's such a simple thing. There it is. That is all it is. 2 ferrite rings with about, in my case, I've got 7 turns of the power lead going through them, and that stops all the radio frequency picked up in the house wiring from entering the radio, and should, in theory, give me a little bit of quieter receive, and I'll be able to pick up those weaker signals then. So the setup is very convenient now. I've got my electricity coming in through the main power supply unit, coming into the transceiver, being turned into radio frequency, going up to the ATU where the impedances are matched, so I can get the RF into the antenna, then going out via a balanced feeder over there to the antenna and then into the atmosphere. Very simple, very effective, and I've already been on some of the HF bands and managed a few contacts across the Atlantic to people in North America. Even this evening I was on 24 megs, 12 meters, and managed some Morse contacts. So that's it. Just a quick look at the radios for those that are interested. I haven't done a Radio Shack video for a while. A very important tool, that's called the back scratcher. So again, there's the power supply. I think this is a 40 amp power supply. The rig is a Kenwood TS590. Got an external speaker. And then over here I've got my 2 QRP rigs. I built these from kits a long time ago. This one I built over 25, maybe 30 years ago. It's Elecraft K1. That'll transmit up to 8 watts, 4 bands, 40, 30, 20 and 15 meters. This is the Elecraft K2. Again, I built this from a kit. This is all band from 160 meters to 10 meters, including the walk bands. And you'll notice that the mic is blanked off. There's no SSB module, purely CW only. On the top shelf here, there's my Palstar ATU. It's an ATU designed to handle up to 1.5 kilowatts, although I only ever use 100 watts. And then I've got another smaller ATU there. On the top shelf, just a few keys and a dummy load heatsink for just testing the output of the radio, and that's it really. That's my call sign there, G0VQW. So let's have another little slurp. So I'm hoping that the computer's going to work better for me now, and I'll be able to get some good edits now, and not have to worry too much, because I did find editing a bit stressful with the old computer, with it crashing. Yeah. And this video, when you get to watch it, this will have been the first video edited on the new PC. Right, not a lot more to add really. I think the next video I should be back outside again. But as I say, when the weather turns and it's really too unpleasant to be out there, then I'll be bringing back the Ham Shack videos for those that are interested. You know, on a it won't be just a it's a variety channel, so you're going to get a mixture of all sorts, and a bit of radio, a bit of cycling, a bit of camping, a bit of everything. What I'm interested in, basically. So I hope you'll enjoy the variety. Variety is the spice of life. Yeah. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.